So welcome to a new Game Stuff episode, and this is a very interesting Game Stuff episode because I'm going to tell you the most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my entire life. Yes, I'm going to tell that story. It's a little at the end to do with a certain item that kind of reminded me of this thing because I really don't want to remember it in my mind. I'm going to share it because it's funny, and I'm also going to show an item that I've been looking for around 15 years. I've never been able to find one. I finally picked one up. It's a dream come true for me. I'm not going to show that right now as well. I'm going to show that at the very end because it's very, very special. And before I begin, I will ask you guys, what have you picked up in the way of new game stuff? Have you picked up a new game, a new book, some figures, something to do with the genre? Let me know down below. So let's start off with the big item here. This is the big item right here, and that is the Virtual Boy has made a return onto the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2. I tried this out, I've been playing it, and it's a very fascinating thing. It really is. It's a very wild thing that they even brought this back. Like, I'll bring this up to the camera here, like, they brought it back, and I just want to say that back in the day, we used to have a place called Zeller's here. And I walked into Zeller's one day, and they had this up as a kiosk when it first came out, the original one. And I went in, and I looked at it, and I'm like, what the heck is this? It's like 3D. It's all red. It was weird. And then the next thing I remember, it was gone. And not one of my friends owned one of these units. And so I've never been able to try this out. And I just want to say, I finally, given it its due, I just want to say that you can open up the top here, you get your Switch 2 or Switch 1. If you get a Switch 1, you get a different thing, you got to put it on the bottom here. But you slide it in, click that on, and then you have your Joy-Cons on the side, and you're good to go. And the one thing that I want to say, it's glasses friendly. So that was a big thing for me. I'm like, can I wear my glasses with it? And I can. I gotta say, playing some of these games in modern times now, is really fascinating. It's so interesting to get the actual hardware. Like, look at this. It comes with like a metal stand. It's fascinating. There's also a cardboard one you can pick up as well here. Both of them work very, very well. I like the actual Virtual Boy from back in the day. It's a fascinating failed item that is kind of interesting to try now. How are the games? The games are interesting. Their 3D works extremely well, and while you're playing them, you're like, this is fascinating. And it's a really weird concept. And when I'm playing the games, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it because it's so unique. And I think for anybody who grew up in the before times, heard about this unit, and they want to try it for themselves, give it a go. It's a fascinating thing. You do have to download the Virtual Boy software, and you have to have a Nintendo account online to be able to access all this stuff. So keep that in mind. But for the curious, it's kind of a fascinating concept and very interesting to play, Tetris in 3D and play some of these other games. So let's get into some games right now, and this is a game I've been very looking forward to. I saw that it was digital only, and then I heard that Fangamer was putting out a copy of it, a physical copy, and I'm like, okay, I'm in, and it's called UFO 50. And what is this? It's a game made up of 50 mini games. They're all very unique. You do such different things in every single game. I can't wait to play this, and I'm going to come back in a Games We're Playing episode and talk about this because this one really kind of captured my imagination. I really like the concept of it. I loved all the mini games. There's so many of them and such a variety of games and concepts that I was just like, you know what? I really want to play this game and to see what it's all about. It's one of those games I can just put into my Nintendo Switch 2 and kind of zone out and just try different things. And so I'm really looking forward to this game. What do you guys think of UFO 50? So being a big anime fan, especially old school anime fan, this game was on my radar for a while, and that is Space Adventure Cobra: The Awakening right here. And this is from the great old classic anime of Space Cobra. And this game was kind of a little bit high in price, and I was like, you know what, I'll pick it up, and then all of a sudden it dropped, and that's when I picked it up. And what is it? It's a side view action game where you play as Space Cobra, and that's about as far as I know, but I really want to delve into this game and give it a shot. I don't know how the reviews went. How was this reviewed? Was it loved by many people? Have you played it? What do you think? I'm asking you guys because I picked it up and I have a big interest in checking it out and just in the old school anime-ness of it all. And just look at that. I just love the anime style graphics on the front there, the old school days, and definitely looking forward to playing this.
I think a little nap would do you good.
Be careful. Everything is collapsing.
Don't worry. You can trust me.
Oh my god, could it be? Could we get past a new GameStop episode without a Neo Geo collection shown again? We got Volume 9 and Volume 10 here. And let's start off with Volume 9. I just want to say, this is, from everything that I've heard, is the end of the Neo Geo collection. So you'll never see me showing these ever again. They got up to 9 and 10. 10 is the limit for them all. I can't believe they came out with 10 volumes of this, and I have them all. To be honest with you, being a Neo Geo fan, it's nice to have most of those games all in one place. And what have we got on here? Some of my favorites. Magician Lord. This is one of my all-time favorite arcade games. When I walked into my local arcade and I saw a Neo Geo cabinet for the first time and I saw Magician Lord playing, we played as a magician going through these side view levels, but the great thing was you can transform into different forms. So you can transform into a dragon, transform into a ninja, and it was challenging, and the graphics at the time were light years beyond anything we'd seen on the home console market at that time. And we're talking the arcade experience at home, because you could play it in the arcade, but you could also play it at home if you could afford the system, which nobody I knew could. But really fun to play Magician Lord on there. And they also have a beloved classic of mine, The King of Monsters. I also played that in that local arcade up for me. I had this great little arcade that was just up the road. It was probably about a 10-minute skateboard ride to get there. And I'd go there and all of my friends would be there. It was extraordinary at that time. Yeah, so getting up there and playing The King of Monsters, we could just pick different monsters and fight against each other and destroy the city in the making. And there was little cars going by and little planes going by. I know, you look at the graphics now, even I look at the graphics now and I'm like, well, isn't that novel? But I still remember at the time being really blown away by that game. And also included is Samurai Showdown 2. That was a game that me and my friend Andrew walked into our local 7-Eleven back in the day, and I'm like, oh my god, there's a second Samurai Showdown game? I can't believe that. And the game blew us away because you could use weapons in the game against the other opponents, and that was the big deal thing here. So lots to enjoy in Volume 9. Let's move on to Volume 10 here. Yeah, it's sad this is the end of the volumes, because I've actually really enjoyed these games. And one game is on here that I adore, and that is my favorite in the series for Metal Slug, and that is Metal Slug 3. And I always loved the opening. I remember my friend Satan at the time and my friend Rob, being in a local arcade, and we walked in and saw this game for the first time. And I just loved running up the beach and fighting all the gigantic mutated crabs and, saving the little guys and just powering up your weapons and just plowing through everything, throwing your grenades. I loved it. The pixelated graphics, I remember seeing them at the time, and they just gave you a certain feeling, like, look at the detail. And you thought at the time, I don't know how graphics can ever look better. And isn't that funny at that time period? And what a great game Metal Slug 3 is. My favorite in the series. And the top tier Samurai Showdown 5 is on here. And this is a great game. I remember thinking when I played that game, Fighting games can never get better than this. This is the top tier Samurai Showdown experience, Samurai Spirits experience. And I loved it. I loved all the different moves. I loved all the different characters. I loved the backgrounds. It was a top tier Samurai Showdown game. And it was really cool. We did get a Samurai Showdown game later on. I reviewed it with Vic many, many years ago then. But yeah, I love these volumes. And I really love having them all in one place so I can say, hey, my Neo Geo collection is here and it's accessible on my Switch 1 and Switch 2. And another game that kind of caught my imagination here is Calamity Angels Special Delivery. And very cutesy. It's got that very cutesy style, very anime style, which I adore, you know, for sure. I love the side view combat of it. I love the overhead graphics of it. I just like the style of this game, and I don't know what to think yet. I had to dive into this game. Are any of you playing this game, Calamity Angels Special Delivery? Let me know down below. And yes, I did pick up another boxed TurboGrafx game, TurboGrafx 16 game that I adore. I had to pick it up, and it's right here, and it's China Warrior. The TurboGrafx days, man, I'm telling you, look at some of this box art. I mean, this would never, no pun intended, this would never fly now. It would never fly now. And what is the claim to fame of this game? This was in every single TurboGrafx 16 demo kiosk to show the power of this machine. And you're gonna look at this and you might have a smile, you might have a chuckle in fact, but here we go. Look at the size of the characters on the screen. That was the big deal thing with this game. And, you know, just walking side view, kind of like Kung Fu, you know, fighting wave after wave of enemies and just other projectiles and things thrown at you. I thought it was a marvel at the time. I couldn't believe it because you're coming off the NES at that time. And then you see the TurboGrafx and you're like, look at the size of that character. Look at the size of the bad guys coming towards you. And it's just wave after wave doing the same thing over and over again. But at that time, that was the big selling thing. And I had to get it for that reason. And I just love the box art here. It really takes me back to like 1989. You know, 1990 time. I really adore it. And I really loved this game back in the day. I thought it was really something. Yes, very repetitive. But it showed the power of the potential of that hardware. Now, I just talked about Romeo is a Dead Man and how that game was totally insane and blew my mind out the back of my head. And I was talking about the No More Heroes series, and I showed 1 and 2 in that kind of like review, if you want to call it that, for that game. And I remembered, I was like, wait a second, they came out with a 3rd game, and I'd never picked it up. So I picked it up, and I got this big version of it, the Day 1 edition, and it was like $30. It was like super cheap, and I'm like, sometimes it's kind of good to wait on a game that you can get it for so cheap. And so I was really thrilled to pick this up because I'm a big fan of Suda51. I want to support him. I'm not kidding. This really slipped through the cracks for me. And I love the No More Heroes series. It's over the top. It's crazy. It's really weird. But definitely I love me some Suda51 insanity.
Bring it on. I'll give you a little kiss.
This is over. I'll show you how it ends.
And now this was sent in to me, and this is Romancing SaGa, Minstrel Song Remastered, the international version. And when I got it, I was like, oh, it's got the Peggy logo on it. And so this is kind of the European PAL version of the game. And that's okay. You know, I was really kind of interested in getting this. The Romancing SaGa series is a very fascinating one. And this remastered version looks really, really cool. And it was something that I definitely wanted in the collection. And yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. And it's by Red Art Games and Square Enix. Now, here's a fascinating one. I walked into my local Walmart, and I'm telling you, you can find some amazing things in Walmart for cheap. I found the Shinobi character and the Golden Axe characters in my local Walmart, but I already had them. But I saw this, and yes, I know you've all seen them at your local Walmart, but they're trying to blast them out. So I'd recommend going to your local Walmart if you're interested in this and picking it up, to be able to pick this up for $9. I was able to pick it up for $9. And what is it? It's a Super Street Fighter 2 cartridge, which opens up with Ken's stage there, and you got Ryu and Ken fighting there on the dock. And I just went to my wife and I'm like, I have to put this in the basket. And so I did there, and this is it. I mean, I don't know. I'm a big sucker for these types of things, and you know, you might never see this again. And then one day you're like, I should have picked that up for $9, and that's why I picked it up. Okay, I ordered this a long time ago. What is this? What is this? Let's open it up together, because I thought that's what I would do with you guys today. We'll open this up together. Yes, look at this figure, Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. And what a great looking figure this is. And when I saw this, I was like, yes, I've got to get this. And I'm not going to do some crazy flipping of the knife here. I'm just going to cut open because I want to show you guys and have the same reaction as we open this together and see what we have here. I'm such a big fan, and I love... Oh, I gotta say something. It's a lot smaller than I thought it was gonna be. Way smaller. Like, look at this, my hands compared. Look at, it's very tiny. I didn't think it'd be that small. A lot of accessories there, a lot of different, different faces, and a lot of things you can attach to the hands. Way smaller than I thought it was going to be. Look at the box. Let's compare, shall we? This is funny. Yeah, no. You think you're getting a really big figure, you open it up and it's all in plastic. Oh, geez, for the price? I don't know. Okay. Little disappointed with the size on that one, no pun intended. Not what I was hoping for. Okay, we're getting to my embarrassing story and this great item that I'm going to show. Let's start off here first. I can't believe I'm telling this embarrassing story but before that, I'm just going to show this one item. And here we go. We have Darkstalkers, the Night Warriors, with a great Morrigan on the cover there. And this is the soundtrack. This is the vinyl soundtrack. And I was really interested in this because I've never got a chance to talk about my love for the Darkstalkers series. I, again, saw it in a local 7-Eleven, and I just walked in one night. I remember being hungover, and I walked over to the machine, and here's the thing. This is why I had to pick up the soundtrack. I walked over, and some people were playing it, and they were on Felicia's stage, and I just went over, and I could hear the music. And I don't know why, but I always remembered her music and her stage. I always remembered it. And then I started to play it. And okay, I got a weird story to tell you. Is that back then, I was playing Street Fighter 2, and I was drawing. And I do have the drawings there somewhere. I don't know where they are. And I drew this thing called Dark Warriors. I'm not joking with you. It was this weird, and I thought, yeah, it would be so cool if they did a Street Fighter that was a bit darker and blah, blah, blah. And I walked into my arcade and I saw this. It was really weird. It was just pure coincidence. I always feel that back then, not so much now, while I was drawing, I was like, I don't know, I was really in tune with pop culture. I think that's the only way I can describe it. Even, I remember drawing, Final Fantasy-esque characters with little robots. And then we got Final Fantasy VI with the robots. It was weird. It was really weird. I was like, what? I just thought, wouldn't it be cool in an RPG if you could jump in a robot? And they were thinking the same thing. I think, it's so wild. So anyways, got the soundtrack. I love this game in the arcade. I just loved all the different characters. And I really wished they would bring this series back, another fighting game. I really wish for a lot of fighting games to make a return. Oh no, here we go. Oh my God, I'm actually getting shivers because I'm telling this story. And here we go. I just want to say for the person who reminded me about this on Twitter, they brought this to my attention because I didn't know it existed. And that is for the Robotech, the Vocal Music Collection here. And there's Min Mei singing, and we got Rick Hunter and Lisa Hayes in the background there. Oh God. I can't believe him. You know why I'm telling this story? Because I'm getting older. And in a certain way, I just don't care anymore. But you know, one of those things that you've done in your life that you think back on and it gives you shivers and you're like, why did I do that? The embarrassing thing that you did. We've all done it. We've all done it. But I did it in spectacular form. So I got into Robotech in 1985 and then into I was in grade 7 in 1987. And for some reason, there was like a talent show. They were recruiting talent to do a show at my school. So you could come up and do like in America's Next Talent kind of show. You can go up and do whatever you want to do, and there was judges who would judge you. I really wanted to be a part of this, but I didn't have anything. I had no talent. I had no talent or anything. And why does this come in to do this? Where with this vocal collection, we have a bunch of different songs. Some of them by the great Min-Mei here. She was the kind of idol singer on the SDF1 Macross, and she would sing, and everybody loved her music. And I was a funny kid. I memorized all of her songs back then because this is before the internet. I would just tape the episodes and I would memorize the songs. And so, oh my God. So I decided it would be a good idea. I thought it would be a good idea to go and sing one of Min-Mei's songs. I don't know why I thought that'd be a good idea. I don't know why. And I went in, and I went fully in, and I sang the Min-Mei song, My Time to Be a Star. And I still know the lyrics to this day. Stage fright, go away. This is my big day. This is my chance to be a star. And the thrill that I feel is truly unreal. This is my time to be a star.
Stage fright, go away. This is my big day. This is my time to be a star.
I went and fully sang this song for these judges. And they must have been looking at me like, oh my God, what have we got today? What is this guy doing? Like, none of it made any sense. None of it made any sense. And I think I'm blushing a little bit. I think I'm getting a little warm from telling this story. I made a complete ass of myself, like a complete ass. And I just don't know why I did it. I just wanted to be a part of the talent show, and I didn't know what else to do. And I thought nobody would know Min-Mei songs, and I'll sing the song. It was a bad move, man. It was a bad move. There you go. That's my most embarrassing story. And I walked away, and I kind of was walking away going, what did I just do? Why did I just do what I did? And that would be something. I'm walking down the street, and this is me, many years after this. And I'm walking down the street, and all of a sudden I'll do this. Oh. Jeez, did I really do that? I did do that. That was me. That wasn't an out-of-body experience. It was an out-of-body experience, but I'm owning it. I sang My Time to Be a Star by Min-Mei in my 1987 class because I honestly, at the end of the day, I just loved Robotech and I really liked Min-Mei, and I just didn't know how to project that the right way, and I projected it that way. So that was that. Now we get on to something that is very, very meaningful for me personally, and that is, I could never find this item. I've looked. If I've ever seen it on eBay, the shipping is astronomical because it's not a small thing. And so I'm just gonna get right to it. And I'm gonna explain why I bought this. I bought a 1980s comic book standee spindle. And I want to explain, as I'm showing the B-roll of this, why I bought this. I have so many fond memories of moving to Vancouver, and I would ride my bike up the road to a local pharmacy. They would sell shampoo and chocolate bars and all this kinds of stuff. And they would also have a comic rack. And this is before the internet. We're talking like 1984, 85, even 86. I would go up to this pharmacy on my bike at 10 years old. I'd ride my way all the way up the hill. I'd park my bike outside. I still remember it. It's a very beautiful memory for me. And I would go in, and every Monday there would be brand new comic books. there'd be brand new comic books on this spindle, and I'd spin it around, and my mom would give me like $5. And back then, I could walk away with about 4 or 5 comic books. Comic books were like 75 cents. I can't believe I got that old, where like comic books are that cheap, you know, in retrospective. When I was a boy, comic books were 75 cents. Now they're $7 an issue. But I just have so many fond memories, and I have a lot of comic books on the standee right now. A lot of them are just placeholders, but a lot of them really mean something to me from back in the day. It was the first place that I ever saw Machine Man, one of my favorite comic books of all time. I love Machine Man. It was also the first time I saw Transformers issue 1 for the Transformers, the comic book. And how it worked for me is, I walked in one day and I'm like, and I picked it up and I'm like, the Transformers, and I'm gonna put it on the standee eventually. That's gonna happen. And I looked at this and I'm like, what's the Transformers? You know, this is like, I think it was like 1984, 85. And I was like, what is this? And I took it home and I just marveled at these robots that could transform. I'd already kind of seen a little bit of that with Force 5 and things like that. But my God, the Transformers was something brand new. And I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. And the next day, the cartoon started and pop culture began a brand new franchise known as the Transformers. And I was quite literally there day one. So I discovered a lot of these things on this comic book stand, you know, G.I. Joe issues, so many things, Moon Knight. I had so many comic book adventures. And it's, you know, right now I have it in the living room. It's actually going right behind this light. I'm actually getting rid of some old computers and it's going right there. I've looked for it for so many years. They never come up. And it's a little bit more expensive than I would have liked to have paid, but that's what it is. To buy that memory of being that kid on that bike back then in 84, 85, 86, some of my transformative years to do with comic books. And then in 88 into 89, that's when I would get into manga and I would kind of move away from American comic books. But I had this beautiful time period in the 80s reading some of these things. And I was so happy to get that stand. It really meant a lot to me. And guys, I'll ask you guys, what have you picked up in the way of new game stuff? A brand new special edition, some figures, some books, some comics? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.